Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Max with BuzzTox here with I think the last news video until the premiere of Game of Thrones Season 7. I am so freaking excited. But before I get into the news, I just want to quickly say that I will be live streaming on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before the premiere of Game of Thrones Episode 1. That is this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And it's an Ask Me Anything About Game of Thrones. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, and I want to chat with you. And it's really important for me to do a test run of this live streaming so I know how to do it when the episodes actually start coming out. But anyways, let's get into the news. So for starters, we've already had the Episode 1 premiere. And what the premiere is that they invite a bunch of special people to check out the movie before it actually airs. And for starters, Joe Dempsey was there. He plays Gendry, so I think that hints at his involvement in the season. But we already knew that. And we also got first reactions, but take it with a grain of salt, but it's extremely freaking positive. And here are some of the quotes. The opening scene of the Game of Thrones premiere had me crackling in pure holy shit. Second quote says, my lips and tweets are sealed, but that was amazing. Another quote says, good night world, season 7 will knock your pants off, prepare now. And another person said the crowd is gonna freak out when they watch this on Sunday. So I hope I freak out. And I'm really freaking excited now. We do have to take it with a grain of salt, but we will see what happens. But I honestly believe that this will be a way better premiere than Season 6. I made it very vocal that I didn't really like the premiere for Game of Thrones Season 6. And if you want to know in detail why, check out my reaction video and my breakdown video for my Season 6 Episode 1 stuff. Secondly, we got a Game of Thrones interview with Gwendoline Christie, who plays Brienne of Tarth. And I found this quote really interesting. She said, what's recurrent in Brienne's life is forming relationships with people that start with an opposing force. And then there's a begrudging mutual respect, and out of that, a deep respect and pure love. That happens again this season. Brienne will realize a deep alliance. So I really like this quote because Gwendoline Christie perfectly described Brienne's arc, and I never really noticed it before. But she does have a lot of relationships with people on opposing sides. So it will be really interesting to see who this person is she's talking about. She was on an opposing side of, but now she's actually really close with. There could be a couple options. There's the obvious answer, Jaime Lannister. The two will continue their relationship in the future. Brienne, by default, is on Daenerys' side because she supports Sansa, and Sansa supports Daenerys. And we know that Jaime's going to be fighting off Daenerys, so there's conflict there, but also a deep love between Brienne and Jaime. Another one that popped in my head is Arya. We've seen Brienne look for Arya, find her, and fight off the Hound and almost kill him. And I'm sure that really starts a deep resentment between the two characters. We know that Arya is coming into Winterfell in Episode 4, and Brienne is going to be there with Podrick. So it could be possible that the relationship between these characters becomes more positive. We also got some really interesting pictures of the first episode of Game of Thrones. First of all, we get Brienne and Pod, and what I like about this scene is that it's showing that Brienne is still training Podrick. And he may be a force to be reckoned with in this upcoming season. We also see Mira and the Night's Watch, and this is the first time we've really seen Dolores or Dorloris. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but it's the first time we've seen him in Game of Thrones Season 7, so he is 100% confirmed. Mira, Reed, and Bran arrive at the wall, they are let in, they have a conversation with Dolores Ed, and he might send Bran back to Winterfell with a couple members of the Night's Watch to protect him on his journey. We also see this person painting the map room in the Red Keep. I take it that the reason Cersei's having this map made is because the people can't stand her. And for Cersei's own safety, she cannot leave the Red Keep. I think for this reason, she's having the map built in her quarters. We get a shot of Lyanna Mormont, and this is going to be during the conference between Jon and all of the Northern Lords, where they're going to be discussing who gets the lands of Carhold, where they talk about what to do with the Umber and Karstark children, as well as the White Walker threat. We also get a nice shot of Daenerys, and we see Daenerys staring at her throne. So it's really going to be exciting seeing her take the seat of a ruler from Dragonstone, and how that contrasts with Cersei. And finally, I want to close off with some Season 8 news. There's an interview with Dan and Dave, and I really wanted to talk about it because it really instilled hope in me. I've always been nervous for the show because George R.R. Martin hasn't finished the books, and I was worried that the story would seem like it was tagged on, or like it didn't fit. Dan and Dave just kind of threw what stuck. But in an interview, they've revealed that they've been thinking about the endgame of Game of Thrones for 4 or 5 years. And if you look back in Season 2, there is even vital information that really teases the finale of the show. And I can think of one quick example of this. Tyrion was in charge of the plumbing of Casterly Rock. And Tyrion saying that immediately, I believe, is going to pay off in this season, where he gives that information to Grey Worm and he can sneak the Unsullied into Casterly Rock. So we're starting to see things pay off. And I love hearing this information from Dan and Dave because we can continue to look back at the last 7 seasons and then predict season 8. And it's not going to feel like a tagged on ending. It's something that they've been thinking and considering for a long time. But that is the last news video for Game of Thrones Season 7, I think. It is very brief, very quick to the point, and I got a lot of other videos to work on. I got a couple more predictions. We got that live stream, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, and then we're hitting it big when Game of Thrones premieres this Sunday. So I will see you guys a lot, but until next time, I'll see you guys later.